You have to find it within yourself. If I've got to tell you to get up, and I've got to tell you to go to work, and I've got to tell you to do everything, then until that person stops telling you, you're never going to be able to achieve anything. So that's the best piece of advice I've been given, is find it within yourself to be motivated. You've been blessed with a brain, heart for emotions, spiritual connections.
Left hook head, left hook body. Good, body head. Good, and again.
So connect with like the positive forces in the world and find motivation to try and achieve something while you're here. That's the best piece of advice I've been given.
With nearly 2 weeks remaining before Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul collide in a fight poised to shake up the boxing world, AJ isn't just training. He's fully locked in, sharpening every detail with the focus of a man perfecting a masterpiece.
There is a saying, I would say, there's a saying that a happy fighter makes a dangerous fighter, in the sense that if you put them in the right environment and their brain is receptive of what they're being taught, they're going to be more in tune with what they're going through. So I'm actually like, give me more, give me more, give me more.
That's his mindset in everything he does, whether it's training, whether it's work, whether it's helping other people. He just always wants to go that extra yard.
That's it, and again. Good, and again. Good, 2 more. 1 more of them. Good.
Over in Spain, he's drawing on the precision of Usyk's team, sharpening every movement, tightening every combination, and absorbing that slick, calculated rhythm that separates the great from the elite. You can feel his evolution happening in real time.
I'm just focused on myself. I'm confident in myself. Jake could be 10th. I'm confident in myself. That's what I'm saying. It's not about how he is. I just really like, I've got a good team. I've been through ups and downs. I've stood the test of time. I'm passionate. I'm hungry. And I'm still here ready to fight my heart out. So I'm confident in that.
This isn't a casual camp or a routine tune-up. This is Joshua sharpening his edge, moving smarter, faster, cleaner, and adding new layers to his game while staying locked in on the task ahead with laser focus. As the noise rises and the spotlight intensifies, AJ's blueprint remains simple: improve, adapt, and show up sharper than ever.
Good. Sometimes fighters will have a silent agreement where it's like, all right, you're not going to punch, I'm not going to punch. And we're just looking at each other. I'm not that kind of fighter. I'm going to be putting pressure on you even when you're not punching. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with that type of pressure. It takes a seasoned type of athlete to know how to deal with that. Boxing is not just the punches you see, it's the feinting, it's the distance, it's the, oh my God, I threw that jab. Yeah, the intangibles. It's going to be really interesting to see how he deals with the intangibles in it.
And if this version of him brings what we're seeing in training into fight night, trust me, the atmosphere is going to hit completely differently. And just when it looks like Joshua fine-tuning his game in Spain with that elite technical polish has the whole script already written, boom, Ryan Garcia and his crew jump in, turning everything into a wild debate that feels like a late-night boxing podcast running on caffeine.
Look it, he loses to AJ. Where does he go from here? You know, like, who does he fight? You're gonna go back down to 135?
The problem is not that he loses to AJ. The problem is the way he's gonna lose to AJ might be life changing.
Right.
You know, so that's the real issue.
It could be life changing in many ways, right? Physically.
Yeah.
You know? See what he did in Nagano. You know, it's like. But then again, like, if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. Nobody really expects anything.
I'm sitting here just like you, listening to them go back and forth and thinking, are we really in a timeline where people are entertaining a Jake Paul miracle moment? They're talking chaos, destiny, once-in-a-lifetime shockwaves. And honestly, it's both hilarious and nerve-wracking. One side is calling this a calculated masterclass in preparation, while the other is pitching a "what if the impossible happens" movie trailer, and that contrast is pure entertainment.
It's a whole different ball game, and when Jake gets hit by Anthony, like, do we even know how he can react to a big punch yet? We don't. He's never even got hit yet, like in a real fight. He's never taken a real punch. So that's what I'm saying. What do we think about, like, oh yeah, like AJ shot and you know he's getting knocked out a lot. But what about you? How are you gonna react when that big shot hits you? You think you're gonna snap back into it and know what to do? No, not gonna happen.
You can feel the mix of respect, disbelief, and nervous laughter hanging in the air, and that's the magic of this fight. We're watching confidence collide with reality, hype clash with hard-earned experience, and every voice sounds half serious and half braced for a plot twist straight out of a boxing drama. One thing's clear, whether you're calm, panicking, or predicting a historic shock, you're locked in, and so am I. Because this isn't just a fight, it's a heavyweight soap opera with gloves on.
Who sleeps? Anthony just sleeps.
If Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua, it would be the biggest upset in the history of sports.
In the history of sports, correct?
Not just boxing, in sports. Like,
and
that'd be
Jake Paul,
crazy.
bro, we'll never hear the end of it, ever. It'll be over. Jake Paul will be the greatest athlete of all time.
And just as we're settling into the image of Joshua in Spain, grinding like a man on a mission and sharpening every edge under elite guidance, the conversation suddenly flips straight into Joe Rogan mode. The vibe shifts from focused execution to full, what universe are we living in right now? Energy. I'm sitting here thinking the same thing you are. Joe's basically saying, this matchup feels like someone hit the randomizer on a boxing video game and didn't even bother checking the settings.
Realistically, it's one of the craziest propositions of all time. You take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight so you could see. Let's watch that real quick, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his.
You've got AJ coming in calm, dialed in, and fully locked, while Jake's name sparks that wild mix of curiosity and disbelief, and we're all pretending we're not secretly fascinated by how bold this whole situation is. We know Joshua isn't treating this like a casual stroll, and paired with Joe's stunned tone, it feels like the calm before a storm you just can't look away from. It's like watching confidence and credibility shake hands in the most unexpected way possible. And let's be honest, the way Joe breaks it down has that, I can't believe I'm saying this, but here I am saying it anyway, energy.
Tailor the tape of Paul and Joshua.
I was gonna say they got him to weigh a grade of 245. That's only like 7 pounds less.
Yeah, that's nothing. And there's some sort of a rehydration clause. Listen, kids, it ain't gonna matter. You know, there's not a chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry that Jake Paul wants to fight him.
It's the kind of flavor that makes you lean closer to the screen and double-check reality. Everyone hearing it is thinking the same thing. This is either going to be a disciplined masterclass or the kind of chaos that rewrites group chat history forever. There's no middle ground. The size gap, the experience gap, the sheer collision of two completely different worlds, it feels like a blockbuster trailer where every frame screams drama, tension, and questionable life choices wrapped in expensive gloves. We're all trying to pretend we're being logical, but deep down we know logic walked out the door the moment this matchup became real. Now we're just riding the wave, waiting to see whether this turns into a statement performance or a headline that breaks the internet. And the wildest part? No matter what side you're on, you're locked in, because when even Joe Rogan sounds half shocked and half entertained, you already know this ride isn't slowing down anytime soon.
I don't think there's any chance in the world, knowing what Anthony Joshua is a specialist at, he's a specialist at putting knuckles through your fucking brain, you know, and that's what he's going to try to do to Jake Paul. And anything other than that, from a 34-year-old Anthony Joshua, will make us all think it's a fixed fight. Whether or not Joshua can do it, whether or not, Jake Paul shocks the world and shows us that he really does know how to box really well and moves really good and uses his jab and blows us all away with a strategy and a lot of footwork.
And just when Joe's tone has you teetering between disbelief and full-on popcorn mode, Chael Sonnen slides in like the ultimate mythbuster, delivering that calm confidence that somehow feels like both a lecture and a roast at the same time. I'm listening as he methodically dismantles the "this fight won't happen" crowd, and honestly, it sounds like he's speaking directly to every comment section warrior typing "mark my words" with Olympic-level certainty. You and I both know what he's getting at. This isn't some imaginary headline pulled from thin air. This is big money, big ego, and high stakes colliding in real time. The funniest part? The logic rewind. If Jake pulls out, who exactly is he calling? Scheduling a board meeting with his reflection? Watching Chael turn that question into a philosophical comedy routine is pure gold. And we're just sitting here, watching the internet argue with a man who wields common sense like a finishing move.
Believe that Jake Paul is going to pull out of that fight. Might even do it the day of, correct? Correct? Okay. Who would he pull out to? He is the promoter. Who would he call? Does he send an email to himself? Does he send a text message to himself? Does he schedule a meeting, come in and sit down, cross the table and look in the eye himself? Like, it's the part that is the most fascinating about the whole thing is that Jake would be the one to be the skunk at the garden party.
But then Chael flips the switch, and suddenly it's not jokes anymore, it's warning sirens. The energy shifts from "this is silly" to "this is serious business" in an instant. I'm right there with you, because it feels like the room just got colder. He's reminding us that when a seasoned heavyweight speaks with real intent, not PR fluff, not polite respect, but straight purpose, that's when the tone changes. I love how he calls out the whole puncher's chance fantasy like it's a bedtime story people refuse to stop telling themselves. While everyone online debates conspiracy theories and dramatic pullouts, I'm sitting here realizing the only real surprise is how many still underestimate what happens when confidence meets consequence. You can argue about the chaos, you can joke about the madness, but deep down, we all know this isn't a fairy tale. This is power, pressure, and pride stepping into the same spotlight, and none of them look like they're blinking.
You believe that Jake Paul carries around with him a puncher's chance? Really? So he's got the ability, he's going to throw something from some weird direction. It's going to have so much power, and Anthony Joshua may not see it. And by the way, if he doesn't, it's going to connect him, even though it's a 12-ounce glove, and it's going to knock him out. Now, knock him down, I think you'd be going a little too far. I would definitely take your bet on that, with no limit. But this isn't a knockdown game. You got to knock the guy out. You got to knock him down and then keep him there for an alleged count of 10, which could be any number, but it's an alleged count.
So here we are, just 2 weeks out, and this whole saga feels less like a typical fight build-up and more like a heavyweight roller coaster powered by discipline, drama, and pure curiosity. Joshua is in full craftsman mode, honing his tools with elite precision, while the outside world debates miracles, madness, and everything in between like a live sports think tank. I'm watching it all with you, and the funniest part is how this matchup has everyone picking sides, rewriting predictions, and hedging bets emotionally like it's a championship chess match played in boxing gloves. Is this a statement performance waiting to happen, or are we about to witness a shock that gets replayed in highlights for the next decade? That's the real question. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.